All right, guys, so we're going to get started on our JavaScript, and I just want to mention that I did delete the SCSS folder, which is all the Sass files, because we don't need them. You can keep it if you do want to edit the template in any way. And then in the CSS folder, I just got rid of the extra Bootstrap CSS files. All right, so let's open up the project diagram real quick. And one change that I made from the last videos is the meal and workout constructor. The properties in here are actually public. We don't want to add underscores to those because we're going to be using them within the calorie tracker add meal and add workout. So I'm going to start off by just creating the base calorie tracker with the calorie limit property, the total calories, the meals array, and the workouts array. And I want to create the two public methods, add meal and add workout. And when we use these two methods, we're going to be creating these two objects and passing them in, so a meal and a workout. So I also want to create these classes. So that's the plan for now. We're not going to be dealing with the DOM just yet, so I'm not even going to touch the app class or anything like that. So let's jump into our app.js, and we're going to create a class called calorie tracker. Okay, and then we want to create our constructor and add our properties. So let's say this dot, and we're going to use underscore because we're only using these properties within this class. So we want to keep an underscore convention. So let's say calorie limit, and I'm just going to hard code that now to 2000, or you can put it to whatever you want. Obviously, later on, the user will be able to submit this form and change that limit. But for now, it's just going to be hard coded. And then we want a property for the total calories, which is going to be set to 0. And then if they add a meal, that's going to add calories to this property. If they do a workout, that will take calories away. All right, and then we just want the meals array. So let's say meals equals an empty array, and this dot underscore workouts. So these two arrays are going to store the meals and workouts. Now I'm going to create two public methods. So the first one is going to be add meal, which is going to take in a meal object, and no underscore here because this is a public method. So let's say this dot underscore meals, which is our array, we want to push onto that whatever the meal object that's passed in. Now we also need to account for the calories, so this right here we want to update that with however many calories are in this meal object. So let's say this dot underscore total calories plus equals whatever the meal dot calories. All right, and plus equals is just short for saying total calories plus the total calories equals the total calories plus whatever the meal calories are. All right, and then let's do, actually we can just copy that down because we're going to do add workout, which is very similar. So let's change this to add workout, and then I'm just going to take this, and this, change that to workout. Okay, so all we're doing here is just pushing on to the workouts array, and then here we just want to change one thing, and that is instead of adding, we're going to remove. So we want to put a minus here because we're burning calories, so we want to take those calories away. All right, so now when we call add meal or add workout, we're going to pass in a meal or workout object. So I'm also going to create a class for both of those. So let's go under the calorie tracker, and let's say class meal, and let's create a constructor, and that's going to take in a name and the number of calories. All right, so here we just want to set, we're actually going to have an ID. Now, there's a lot of different ways to create a random ID. You want it to be unique, or at least as unique as you can make it. When you have a full stack application, like let's say we had a backend API that dealt with a database, like Postgres or MongoDB, in that case, the database will create the ID automatically. It'll automatically create a unique ID, so you usually don't have to really worry about this. But since we're building a strictly front-end application, we have to generate our own ID. So what I'm going to do is use part of a hexadecimal, a random number. Hexadecimal is a 16 base number. So we can do that excuse me, by saying math.random And then I want to basically make that a toString. I'm going to make it a string. I'm going to pass in 16. So this will make it a hexadecimal. Now, I want to get rid of because hexadecimals start with 0x. In fact, let's just do a console log of this so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to do a console log of that. Okay, so if we look at what we're getting here, we want to get rid of the 0 dot, and then that will be our random number. So you'll see if I reload, it's just going to be something different every time. Okay, it's very, very low chance you're going to get the same thing twice with this. So I do want to get rid of the first 2 characters, so we can do that by using slice and then pass in 2. So now you can see the 0 and the dot is gone. So I'm just going to do that here, dot slice, pass in 2. All right, so that will give us a random ID. There's other ways you can do it as well. You can use a date timestamp. That's popular, however you want, really. So let's also add the name, which is going to be the name that's passed in, and then calories is going to be, this dot calories is going to be the calories that's passed in, and that should do it. So let's go ahead and copy this down, and then we're just going to change this to workout. And right now they have the same exact properties, these 3 properties, but if you wanted to change this up and you wanted to add something to meal or workout, you could do that here. So that's why we have two different objects. All right, now to use this, what we can do is first instantiate or initialize our tracker. So we'll say const tracker equals new calorie tracker. And then we want to be able to add a meal and add a workout. So let's create a new meal first. So we'll say breakfast. So const breakfast equals a new meal. And remember, a meal takes in a name and calories. So I'll just call this breakfast, and the number of calories, we'll say 400. Okay, then we can just simply take our tracker and we can call add meal, and we can pass in that meal, which has a variable of breakfast. Okay, and then if we want to do a workout, let's say const run and set that to a new workout. Oops, new workout, and we'll pass in a name here, and we'll just call it run, or we'll say morning run. And for calories, we'll say 300. And then we can just take our tracker and we can add a workout, and we'll pass in run. Now, the only way we have to kind of see what's going on here right now is to console log some of these properties. Now, you're not going to use these outside of the class in your application, but it's fine just to kind of test them out. Because remember, the underscore doesn't actually stop them from being accessed outside. It's just a convention. So let's say console log, and let's get the tracker, and we're gonna just take a look at meals. So it'll give us all the meals, and then let's also look at workouts. So if I save that, you'll see that we get an array, so 2 arrays. One has a meal, see it has an ID, random ID, name and calories. Workout also has an ID, name and calories. All right, so that is the first part. Actually, let's take a look at the total calories, because that should change as well because of this, when we add or we remove calories. So what we want to look at is this total calories. So let's go ahead and console log tracker dot underscore total calories. So if we take a look, we get 100, right? Because we start at 0, we added 400 for our meal, but then we did a workout, a morning run, and burned 300, so we're left with 100. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. Now, before we get to the app class and we start dealing with events from adding through the form and stuff like that, we should at least be able to show like the calories consumed and calories burned and that stuff, to show that in the DOM. So what I want to do in the next video is add a couple methods to the calorie tracker to be able to update those stats.